Introduction. What is channeling? Channeling has many forms. In one form, which I consider extreme, the energy of a consciousness, which may or may not have had a life on Earth, takes over the body and speech mechanisms of the channeler. This may include facial expressions, accents, and gestures. Jane Roberts channeling Seth is a good example of this type of channeling. Another type which I consider channeling is when a medium reports words and ideas of relatives, friends, or guides from beyond the veil or not. The words and ideas may be paraphrased rather than the exact words. The medium is indeed acting as a channel for this information. What I do is called automatic writing, but which is better understood as directed writing. Like the first type of channeling, the writer has little or no idea of what is actually being said until there is a pause or until the entire message is delivered. It must be understood that automatic writing involves not only the use of the channeler's language, but their ideas, memories, vocabulary, thought structures, and writing style. Proper grammar, spelling, sentence structure, and composition appear on the page. The channeler becomes an instrument for the source or sources of the information. This is often amazing. It cannot be emphasized too much that the channeler usually has little control over all of this while the message is being delivered through them, through their writing. In fact, the less the channeler is involved, the better. When I was learning, I was admonished not to judge, evaluate, or process what I was directed to write. A certain totally passive and focused state of mind must be maintained. As I note in this book, I was told by spirit guides that I must think of myself as a court recorder, who only records what is said without the interference of any judgment or personal opinions whatsoever. This is necessarily a practiced discipline. I was taught by a spirit guide who identified himself as Watanabe. He had last been an inhabitant of the southwestern part of North America. He was part of a group of people who eventually moved to the Valley of Mexico and became known as the Aztecs. I can describe him precisely. He currently appears to me in normal street clothes, just like Jesus does. But when he first started to teach me, he appeared in typical Indian breechclout and armbands. He had black, silky, shoulder-length hair and a very strong build. He certainly appeared as someone you did not want to mess with. At first he was a very stern taskmaster. My learning was often slow and sloppy. I had difficulty accepting that what I was writing was totally incomprehensible to me until the message was complete. I was only aware of the flow of words, and I had to be totally focused on this. All of this came about because I was at a crisis point in my life, and I wanted information from God or guardian angels or guides about what was going to happen to me. I desperately wanted to know something about what lay in my path in my future. I just felt that there was a source of information around me, if I could learn to write down what it was. I began with making loop-de-loops on the page, or spelling out the numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. I still do this occasionally when I am under stress and have trouble concentrating. No doubt, the surrender of the mind or consciousness is a form of meditation. I had practiced this for a long time. No doubt I was trained to do this because God or guardian angels or guides had plans for me for much later in my life, like now, for instance.